Blue Bombers just can't get a little continuity going. They fall tonight 25-20 in Edmonton, who beat the Blue Bombers for the first time in 14 meetings, going back to 2019 in matchups head-to-head against these West Division foes. The Elks stay alive in the CFL playoff hunt. The Bombers had a chance to secure at least some sort of playoff spot in the West, maybe a crossover to the East, but that still floats up in the air. They have got the Saskatchewan Roughriders here in Winnipeg coming up next. But right now, let's chop up this game, a 25-20 loss in Edmonton tonight. Let's bring in our post-game friend, your friend and mine, Zach Schnitzer. Schnitzy, saw you and dozens, literally, of Bonfire starters at the Silver Heights restaurant tonight, where you were watching the game on the multiple big screens, having a great time with tasty drinks, amazing food. Before we get into this game, how good are those ribs at the Silver Heights restaurant?
Buddy. Okay, so a bunch of us went to Silver Heights restaurant thanks to WS Tier and Bonfire Maven Bardo, who organized it. We're gonna do it again, buddy. We're gonna get some away game watch parties there. Great setup, man. Like, so many screens, big screens. You could even hear the sound there. Lots of room. Wasn't too loud. Wasn't too packed. Right? Like,
even
it was
for
full.
a tough loss.
But it wasn't. Yeah, like full of Bombers fans, but wasn't like crammed. So you had space to relax and watch the game. The ribs were unbelievable, and I saved about a third of them, not because I wasn't hungry, but because I wanted to savor them later because I was eating them so fast because they were so good. Sides were great.
How much did the Silver Heights restaurant explode when this happened? Ontario Wilson with, I'll dare say it, the catch of the decade.
Yeah, like, Darrin, the only comparable catch I've ever seen to that, and I'm not sure that's not right up there as one of the best catches in CFL history.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I know there's the SJ Green one from Calvillo at the back of the end zone. Right? I know there's the Duron Carter catch where he one-hands it to himself at Mosaic from Kevin Glenn.
Tony Champion with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, back in the late 80s, early 90s. I think it was the late 80s where he had that like backwards leaping catch.
Yeah. This is insane, though. I mean, he gets it. 1, 2, keeps it off the turf somehow and secures it. The only analogous catch I can think of is actually from Super Bowl 51 when the Patriots came back against the Falcons.
The helmet
and
catch.
Edelman had that catch against 3 guys, keeping it off the turf.
Yeah, I'm thinking a previous Super Bowl where the Patriots lost to the Giants, the helmet catch, David Tyree off the arm of Eli Manning. But just one of the many highlights we'll get into here on Game Day After Dark. This is your live Blue Bombers postgame show on Bonfire Sports. Darrin Bauming, Zach Schnitzer. Schnitzy, I think the story of tonight's game can be told by what we saw from Zach Collaros. We'll take a look at his numbers. But as we do, I'll pull those up on screen, but as we do, your thoughts on a 2 interception performance and just margins, inches, I would say even at times, between this offense being able to put together a little bit more than the, what was it? 202 yards passing total tonight.
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you and the fire starters in the chat and folks listening later on podcast. I'm extremely disappointed, Darrin, in this Bombers offense, particularly in Zach Collaros. Okay. Zach Collaros was coming off his best game of the season when they stomped the Hamilton Tiger Cats 40-3. Zach went off. It was vintage Zach Collaros. Okay. Didn't throw any interceptions. The interceptions have been the Achilles heel of this team the entire season. They've lived and died on interceptions or lack thereof. They come into Edmonton against, albeit a scrappy, desperate team that started 1-6 and is 5-3 since. They beat the Riders. They beat Calgary. They beat some good teams. But Winnipeg, since 2017, 18-2 coming off the bye. Edmonton, 1-8. coming off the bye since 2022. Fajardo is 3 of 9 against the Bombers, whereas he's like 62% against the rest of the league. We own Fajardo except that Grey Cup.
Well,
Okay,
Fajardo
hold on.
stunk against the Bombers except for the final 2 minutes of championship games.
Yeah. Then the Bombers come in, Zach Collaros, and I know this isn't all on Zach, but just bear with me. They come into Edmonton playing against an Edmonton defense that was last in yards allowed per game, last in average pass yards per game, last in opponent completion percentage. They've allowed the third most passing TDs, and they've allowed the second best pass efficiency. They have made the least interceptions in the CFL and have the worst time of possession against and the least sacks. Okay, they have a decent rush D. So Winnipeg comes into that, Zach coming off his best game. You're looking for Zach and this offense to elevate again, or just even play average, and they win this game. But once again, whether it's Hogan or it's execution or whatever, third quarter, they stunk it up again, Darrin. They stunk it up again. They get outscored 14-3. They can't sustain drives. They lose the turnover battle 3-0. And Zach throws 2 interceptions that were absolutely backbreaking. And we'll break them down with the film to see what went wrong, because we know it's not all on Zach, Darrin, of course, right? But
Edmonton's pass rush was hellacious. They were in Winnipeg's O-line had their hands full and then some all night.
Yeah.
They were under
2 interceptions, and there was another ball Zach threw that should have been intercepted. And in maybe arguably the most important game of the year, when the Bombers could have, punched their ticket to the postseason, kept pace with Calgary and BC for second place, they dropped this one. They fell on their face, man. And I'm hearing people, haranguing Jason Hogan. I'm not sure if this is all on Jason Hogan. I don't we have to look at the breakdown here. But just from watching the game, Collaros played like crap. And don't let that miracle catch from Ontario Wilson, that 35-yard touchdown catch, fool you. That was a miracle catch that was underthrown. Okay? Without that catch, the Bombers lose this by 2 scores.
Without that catch, Collaros would have finished with 167 yards.
With 2 picks and no interceptions.
2 picks and no touchdowns.
And no touchdowns.
But that was a 35-yard touchdown. And by the way, that 35-yard touchdown, his longest of the day. He didn't have a pass. Like, Ontario Wilson caught a pass in the third quarter that was for 18 yards. At the time, Dustin Nielsen on the broadcast mentioned that was the longest pass of the day to that point.
And Darrin, I mean, we'll break it down in the film, but it looked like Collaros was underthrowing guys. He wasn't maybe stepping into throws. I mean, this one here, the first interception, it looks like there's a D lineman in his face, but if you look at it, does it not seem like he could have stepped into that throw instead of throwing it off his back foot? I don't know.
Look at the pressure come to his front. And instead of resetting himself, he's like, I got to get rid of this. And he you're right. He throws it off his back feet or flat footed or whatever. I mean, Demski comes up limping on this, and he left the game, did not return. No update on Nick Demski at this time, but
and Darrin, Demski was open there, right? You can't say Jason Hogan is a crap coordinator. The guy's open. Now, yes, there's pressure, but can he not reset?
This is bad QB technique right here.
Yeah, he just throws. He has no leverage on that throw. It's underthrown. It's easily picked off. They're in almost within field goal range there. And it's what's killed the Bombers all year, Darrin. I mean, sometimes football's 4D chess. You've told me that. I appreciate that. I think it's a great adjective or a way of describing football. But sometimes it's simple. You lose the turnover battle 3-0 on the road, you're not going to win football games. I don't care if you're playing the Elks, the Red Blacks, the Argos. This team right now, Darrin, and I know we'll get into our awards soon and break down some other plays. But this team now is 8-8. They are what their record is. They can beat anybody and they can lose to anybody. You don't know what you're going to get. They can go up against Hamilton, who was first place in the East, and curb stomp them 40-3. And Hamilton generates the most interceptions in the CFL, and they didn't get any. The Bombers exploded on offense. And then the next week, they can absolutely crap the bed.
Hey, it seems like Edmonton cooked up what Winnipeg couldn't handle, and they exploited Winnipeg's offensive front in a way that was incredibly effective. Really like this comment from Gordo, who I saw at the Jets game earlier today. What's going on, Gordo? Oh no, I saw him at the home opener back on Thursday. Bombers are like a box of chocolates. You remember what Forrest Gump's mom told him? You never know what you're going to get.
Like a box of chocolates.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get.
The Bombers could have used Forrest Gump on a go route. The guy never stopped running.
Yeah. Winnipeg, okay, so I've been saying this for a while. Winnipeg's offensive line is not the dominant group they used to be. They're not even very good. They're as dominant when Hardrick and Bryant at tackle were the best O-linemen, 1A, 1B in the entire league for a few years. Okay. And Drew Desjardins and Michael Couture and then Chris Kolinkowski and Pat Neufeld, they were dominant. Then there's very good, meaning you're in the upper echelon of the league. Now I would say they're good to average. And that's not like, I could very well get a text message tonight and be like, how could you say we're average? How could you say the O-line is average? That's not a shot. That's an honest assessment at looking at Bo Levi Mitchell, Cody Fajardo, Trevor Harris, Vernon Adams Jr., Nathan Rourke, whoever's at quarterback for the Argos in a given week. All of the teams in the league. Winnipeg's offensive line is now average to good. And people will always just say it's the quarterback's fault. It's the offensive coordinator's fault. He's new. I don't know him. It's his fault. 4D chess, like you were saying, there are a lot of things that go into this, but I think the reason why the Blue Bombers are a quote unquote box of chocolates is because what used to be the dominant linchpin of their offense, the O-line, where they would go and exert authority every single week, no matter what, no matter who they're facing. Good scheme, good team, good talent, good player, whatever. Bad weather, good weather. They would go in there and exert their authority. Now, they're not able to do that. So you see some teams, take your pick. You had the Jekyll Hyde Argos back-to-back. You had the Calgary games where they were, pushed around in back-to-back games. You have the Hamilton game where Winnipeg looked incredible. And then you have this game where Edmonton, they just pressured Winnipeg's offense all night long. That's what you're going to get when you're not dominant. We're going to get into Walby's Warrior, Westwood Wide to the right. We'll have your happy honker. Would love to know. Everybody in the live chat lit up tonight. And to no surprise, we've got approaching 500 people watching live across all the social media channels out there. You can follow us at Bonfire WPG everywhere. And of course, if you're not watching on YouTube, head over to there right now. You can find everything, BonfireSports.ca, BonfireSports.ca/YouTube/Instagram. It'll take you right to those pages, Facebook, whatever. Would love to hear from the live chat, your bonfire burning point. This game was back and forth, punch, counterpunch, punch, counterpunch, and some wild plays. Let's start with it. That wild Javon Leak fumble. I think that could be the bonfire burning point.
Well, Waiters thought so. As soon as it happened, Waiters, our boy sitting at Silver Ice, was like, "Burning point, Zach, burning point." Darrin, just I know this is bad form. I'll play this through. I have something else I want to say about Colares.
Mhm.
Yeah. So Jalen Smith, he's a draft pick there, Darrin, number
Yeah.
39.
Yeah.
Watch him, because he has a chance to fall on that football on this crazy play, this Jackson touchdown, Darrin.
Yeah.
Tell
Or
me, because you played football, I never played. If there is a loose ball and you can just fall on it and secure that football and get a turnover,
Mhm.
do you
Of course.
prioritize that versus
Yeah.
the lower percentage play of trying to grab it in stride to take it back for a return?
No, 100% you jump on the ball. But I'll also tell you this, okay? Both in speaking to people in high levels of football and like the crummy levels of football I played till I was like 21 years old or whatever. Okay. Uh, it's a lot freaking harder than it looks. And if it looks hard, it's even harder than that.
To
Uh,
fall on it properly?
just to secure that, it's an oblong ball. Your body is contorted in who knows what way because the ball might be at your heel, your toe, inside, between your legs, over there, over here, to your left. Who knows, right? Ask Kevin Glenn about loose footballs and what can happen if you reach out for it. Everybody remembers 2007. Sorry to bring that up,
Of
but
course, buddy.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. It's tough. No, it's tough.
it's a gauntlet of death, a loose
But
football,
these are
because
professional football players.
everybody's going for it. And it's a lot harder than it looks. It's not just like, wow, it's right there, jump on it. It ain't that easy. It ain't
But you
that
know what?
easy.
It's harder to try and pick it up in stride than it is to jump on it. And
Sometimes, yeah.
play it
Most of
back.
the
Let's
time.
play it back and see, because
Yeah.
maybe I'm totally off here, but that's what I saw watching the replay a couple times.
So here's
was number
Hallett
39.
forces the fumble. There's Jalen
Yeah.
Smith,
Yeah,
who
see,
is
he
the
tries to
second
pick it
man
up
there.
and run with it. He
Yeah.
tries to pick it. If he falls on that football, Darrin, the Bombers very well win this game.
So there's Hallett's hand on it. Great
That
job
was
by
a great
Hallett.
play by Hallett. And yeah, see, he tries to pick it up and run with it.
But
It's
here's
right
the
at his
thing.
feet.
Here's the thing. I understand what you're saying. Like he tries to pick it up and run with it. The reality is there's a ball bouncing at his feet. You can't just fall. Like, how does he fall on it there? His weight is going from his left to his right. You want him to like turn 180 degrees and go flat to the ground. It ain't that easy. So he sees the ball right at his feet and he's like, I just got to grab this with my hands. And it kind of goes off his foot and kicks to the right. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, man, because that's happened to me. I've seen that happen. That isn't just like, look, the ball's 6-7 feet in the air. Okay. It's going down to the ground and you just want him to fall on it. It just fell from 7 feet in the air. It doesn't die
right there
there.
where you stopped it, right? So put it back a second, because as soon as it hits the ground, he's about a couple yards from it, right?
He's about a yard from it here. Yeah.
He's
right on top of it.
Instead of stepping forward on his right foot and trying to pick it up, could you argue that before that, where his feet are flat on the ground, just fall on it there?
Like,
is that fair?
It's in his hands here and it bounces off his leg.
But
I don't know what better
fallen on it before. Like, go back to where it hits the ground. Both 2 feet are on the ground. He's not just standing there, but he's not. Yeah, right there.
The ball's 7 feet in the air. It's spinning end over end. It lands. And it's right in front, right there for his hands.
Right, but before he takes that step with his right foot, I think there's possible that he could have just fallen on it right there. There.
But the ball's not stopped there. It's falling 7 feet it's 7 feet high in the air here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's going to bounce. You can't just fall on it. You expect that ball to maybe bounce straight up, to the left, to the right. It's easy for us to look in slow motion. I'm not going to blame Jalen Smith here at all. I might blame 4 Blue Bombers in the vicinity and it not being able to get through. Like,
Songspire's done with this. He's done with us analyzing this. It's a crucial play in the game, though, Songspire. Like, if the Bombers recover that, even if they don't advance the football, they likely win this game.
Yeah.
Just before we get into the burning point, because I don't know if you can
This
argue
is
that
my
one.
burning point.
That's your
This put
burning point.
Edmonton up 25-10. It was the winning score of the game.
Yeah.
And this turned the momentum of the game on a dime. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, the Bombers were hanging around. That it was 18-10, right? They punt it back. If they get that ball back, they're only down by one score. The thing is, though, Darrin, and that is my burning point as well. You could talk about the Rankin massive home run on when, like, credit Edmonton, right, on 3rd and 2. Some
Yep.
people were complaining about the spot there. 3rd and 2, Rankin just takes it. He seems to be an expert at running off tackle, man. He like that guy is a, and I'm bringing this up because it has some relevance on my burning point. But Bombers were 2nd and 2, and they end up having to punt in that 3rd quarter. Brady runs it from shotgun on 2nd and 2 and gets stuffed. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and this is where I wonder sometimes about Hogan. I'm not saying Hogan lost in the game, but Darrin, in the first half, Bombers were 2nd and 4, and Strebler comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a zone read. He fakes the run and runs outside and gets like 6-7 yards, right? And I get that you can't run the same play every time. But if it's 2nd and 2 and you trust Strebler to get you 4 yards on 2nd down, why don't you trust him to get you 2? And if he gets you 1, he can get you 1 the next play.
So you're saying
that's
you wanted them to bring out Chris Strebler instead of Brady Oliveira
on 2nd and 2. Yeah, this is in the first half. On 2nd and 4, he gets them like 6-7 yards.
Yeah.
What I wonder, I'm not saying definitively, Darrin, and I will get to my burning point, but what I don't know is why. Like, I get Brady Oliveira is a phenomenal player, but we know that this O-line isn't as good as they used to be. Zach is handing the ball off from shotgun, like 3, 4, 5 yards back from the line. Brady doesn't get anything because Edmonton fills all the gaps. Why don't they run Strebler on 2nd and 2 where the other team's a yard off the ball? He's right under center. Like, look at that push. I mean, they were exerting their will on short yardage.
Can
Why
I push
not
back
put
on
Strebler
you
in there?
here?
Absolutely.
Justin Rankin's 60 whatever plus yard touchdown. That was on, what was the down and distance?
3rd and 2.
Why would you take Brady out? Because like 3 weeks ago,
that was off tackle though, and that was unexpected.
Yeah, but either way, but like that's my point. That's my point. Is it could be play action, it could be off tackle, it could be to the middle. You bring in Chris Strebler, it's a short yardage package play,
and it's highly successful.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm just saying, it makes me wonder. Why hand the ball off that far back if a guy's going to run up the middle when you can take it under center? You have the yard off the ball. You have 2 plays to make 2 yards.
I think it's too easy to just second guess that.
It is. So my point is, Darrin, they're 2nd and 2. They can't convert. They have to punt it, right? And Hallett makes a great play on the football. If they get a turnover there, that's a different game. It's 18-10. It's still a 1-score game. Bombers could drive and get a touchdown, 2 points. Even if they get a field goal, they're only down by 5. Edmonton had all the momentum, and I think that is definitely the burning point. But that rank, like, credit Jordan Maksimic, Edmonton's offensive coordinator, Darrin. I think that was Edmonton's next drive. He hits I believe it's a 64-yard home run there.
Mm-hmm.
He's so, like, I don't think people are talking about Justin Rankin enough. And I'm not just talking about this because of recency bias. I talked about it with Connor on the Bombers Report last week when we previewed this game. I said they have, like, the only way the Bombers can beat, or the best way to beat the Elks is to limit Justin Rankin. You can't let him get a home run shot like that. But even though the Bombers have a decent run defense, that's what Rankin can do. This guy,
he's awesome. He's the best ball carrier in the league.
Yeah, if 100%. He wasn't splitting reps with Javon Leake early in the season, This guy would have the most rushing yards in the CFL. He comes into this game, Darrin, with the most receiving yards for any running back in the CFL. He can catch the ball, and he's like, I said this on the show with Connor. He is like a mini Derrick Henry, and maybe you think that's crazy, but this guy has power to knock you over, but he also has home run breakaway speed.
Mhm.
And he can catch the ball. Like, this guy could do everything. Edmonton signs him to a 2-year deal. Very smart. I think he's arguably top 3 best players in the CFL right now.
Mhm.
I
Yep.
think he's that electric. I love me some Justin Rankin.
He's all CFL for sure.
Yeah, so he really broke that game wide open. You could say that's a burning point. I'm trying to look at my notes here. I think it was a 64-yard touchdown. Maybe you don't like some of the
Yep.
tackling there by the
Yep.
Bombers. But credit Rankin and credit Max Simic for having the cojones to on 3rd and 2 to call that play.
You got
That was the difference in the game.
Walby's Warrior tonight.
Well,
You could give it to Justin Rankin.
yeah, like
I know you
Justin
don't
Rankin.
want to.
I'll give him a game ball. Walby's
Here's Justin
Warrior.
Rankin's numbers: 18 carries, 138 yards, average 7.7 yards per carry. Had that 64-yard touchdown, 3 runs of 10 plus. Stud, absolute freaking stud. Hilaire had a huge game. 𝘎𝙤𝙤𝙧𝙯, 2 second down conversions as well. Cody Fajardo, I mean, just over 50%, but clean sheet, no picks. Only had 142 yards, but the Edmonton Elks didn't win it with offense. They won it with defense. They won it with that huge special teams play. When I can't imagine what's going through the mind of Mike Miller when you create a fumble in a 1-score game and you got 4 guys around the football. I know we just went through all this, but like the mind of Mike Miller, Blue Bombers special teams coordinator, you get that play. That play, we needed that play. We got to find it. We found it. And then it flips the other way and Edmonton scores, the game-winning touchdown, what turned out to be. That's an absolute backbreaker. That's my Westwood wide to the right. Not that the Bombers did anything wrong there. It's just that coin flipped the other way.
You're going wide to the
crumble,
right.
The cookie crumbled.
Yeah,
that way for them.
So
not the reason they lost tonight. They didn't protect, but that's my Westwood wide to the right.
So I'll go back to the Walby's Warrior. I think Cameron Lawson on defense, Darrin, had a pretty good game.
Awesome. Cameron Awesome, as Willie J calls him.
4 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, a couple of huge ones there.
Mm-hmm.
The defense, once again, Darrin, kept the Bombers in this football game.
Mm-hmm.
You take away the special teams touchdown is not on the Bombers defense. Bombers defense allowed 17 points. You should win in the CFL when you allow 17 points. Okay, they did allow a couple of big plays, that Rankin 64-yarder, and then there was a 𝘎𝙤𝙤𝙧𝙯 one for, I believe it was 35 or something. But the defense gives up only 2 big plays, right? But yeah, I'm gonna give it to Cameron Lawson. I thought he really showed up. Nice to have a Canadian D tackle. I think he's the successor to Jake Thomas. So nice to see him get a couple tackles for Lawson. You jumped to the wide to the right, so I guess I'll do mine.
Shoot.
So I'm going to talk about Collaros again because you look at him versus Cody Fajardo. Cody Fajardo, like you said very well, Darrin. Cody Fajardo finished 13 of 24 for 142 yards. He had an efficiency of 71.9, 54% completion percentage, which is not good for Fajardo. But that's what the Bombers secondary does to quarterbacks. They did it to Trevor Harris. They did it to Bo Levi Mitchell. They did it to who was the Drew Brown, right? They're
Mm-hmm.
quarterback completion percentage against the Bombers is the worst in the CFL. Okay, so I'm not surprised by that, although I will applaud it. But what Fajardo doesn't do is he doesn't turn the ball over. He has 3 interceptions this year. He's now completed 147 straight pass completions without an interception.
Whew.
And you conversely, Zach Collaros now has 16 touchdowns and 15 interceptions.
To be fair.
Right? So
to be fair.
Which is tied for the most in the CFL.
To be fair.
So my wide to the right, to be fair, my wide to the right is Zach's interceptions. Are they all on him? No. But they didn't look good, man. That's my wide to the right. And the Bombers are going to live and die on how efficient Collaros is and how much he can protect the football. When he can protect the football and he doesn't throw picks, this team can beat anybody.
Well said.
But when you underthrow balls and you just don't step into balls and you make poor decisions, it's just not you're not going to win in the CFL. I don't care who you're playing.
In the reason I was saying to be fair is the reason Cody Fajardo is now, like 3, 4, 5 years ago, he was not mistake liberal, right? Or conservative, whatever. He was a lot looser with the football because he tried to make things happen with his arm. He's now learned that's not his game. He is a game manager, right? There's a reason he was signed by Edmonton this year as a backup, but he couldn't, 1 year removed from, like a matter of months, removed from being a Grey Cup MVP, albeit he was meh all game in that Grey Cup win against Winnipeg in 2023. And then 2-minute drill, he just bang, bang, hits some passes and he's the hero. Cody Fajardo has learned just play your game and good things will happen. And he has the Edmonton Elks playing really well right now. So to be fair, you look at Cody's interceptions versus completions, touchdowns, whatever. Like, how many touchdowns does he have this year? Did you pull that number out?
16.
Yeah, that's pretty good. A lot of that is kind of check down stuff to Justin Rankin. But the reason
Zach is throwing 16.
Yes.
Touchdowns, sorry.
The reason I would never compare Fajardo's interceptions to Collaros' interceptions head to head is that they're completely different quarterbacks. And, Fajardo is never put into a situation where it's like, you're going to throw for 300 today. Collaros, I think every time he steps on the field, if things go well, you're going to throw for 300 today. That's why, yeah. Anyway, to be fair, I want to give a Walby's Warrior. Hate to do it. Sorry, all, but I got to give it to this guy. I'll pull it back. Justin Rankin runs like Brady. Like break and tackle, break a tackle, drag a guy, drive forward, legs don't stop. He's insane. He's my Walby's Warrior tonight. Not because of his numbers or anything like that. Like, he was excellent. He had 138 yards and 7.7 yards per carry. He chipped in with, chipped in. He had 1 catch for -1 yards, but he's just tough as nails and a huge reason why the Edmonton Elks are on a bit of a heater right now. Cody Fajardo said it after the game to TSN. They're the Elks are playing playoff football right now because they can't afford to lose. Their backs are against the wall. So, Songspire, I'll take it easy. I'll say it how it is, So yeah, that's my Walby's Warrior, and I've given my Westwood Wide to the right. You got a bonfire burning point? Did you have one?
Yeah, we did. I agreed with you that it was the Jackson,
the crazy play,
crazy touchdown.
Yeah,
return touchdown with follow the bouncing ball. That
Yeah.
I mean that happened in the NFL with the Titans and Cardinals. Sorry, Jeff Cabillas. Good to see you tonight, by the way, at Silver Heights.
Wait, Jeff
That was
Cabillas was there?
yeah, man. He left. He left. But as
Jerk.
soon as he saw you come in the building, he took
Yeah,
off.
that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
So yeah, yeah. I gave my Walby's Warrior. I guess we have the happy honker.
Yeah. Well, this was definitely not a happy honker. I know we looked at this already, but 59-yard return
Yeah.
that led to a missed field goal, the second of two for Edmonton kicker Blanchard
Oh yeah,
today.
he was awful.
Yeah. Real
So
rough day for
let me
Vinny
just that's what
Blanchard.
I wanted to say. I forgot to say this before we talk about our happy honker and then our game balls. Darrin, I want to talk about this score flattering the Bombers. Okay. They
Hmm.
only lose this game by 5. But here's the other things that benefited them that Edmonton didn't do or did do. Okay. What did they not do? Well, Blanchard misses a makeable 43-yard field goal, which Vavel then returns 58 yards. So it
Mm-hmm.
completely flips field position. Then Blanchard misses a 23-yard field goal, which you just can't miss those. Like that almost never like I would say that that's like a 0.5% chance of even happening. So Winnipeg gets those 2 breaks.
The weather
That's
was
5.
kind of crummy there. I know it didn't
Okay,
show
but
on the broadcast,
I'm
but
just saying in
yeah.
general, like
Yep.
nobody misses those field goals or a 23-yarder, right?
Sure.
So Winnipeg benefits from that luck, I would say. Yeah, there's some weather, but I'm just saying, like, take it together. You take 1,000 CFL games, the amount of kickers that miss a 23-yarder is infinitesimal. Okay, Edmonton also takes 100 yards of penalties.
Yeah. Good point.
Right? 100. That's like almost a well, that will be a full football field in 2 years. But that's almost a full football field of penalties, Darrin.
Yeah.
And then Zach underthrows Ontario Wilson, and I will have to look back at that play at some point to see whether that's Zach's fault. But that is an absolute miracle, once
The
in
second pick?
30-year catch. No, the Ontario Wilson catch.
Oh, catch. Yeah.
Yeah. So my point is there was a lot of luck as to why the Bombers were even close in this game, and I get Edmonton had some luck with that return touchdown, but they were outplayed by the Elks.
Yep. No doubt. But I don't want people to get lost on this because so often, Schnitzy, I'll talk to fans and, you know, sometimes fans miss how the other team is doing. They just look at, wow, the Elks are so and so in the standing. They're in last in the West, and that's it. Edmonton has been playing really, really well as of late,
Yeah,
like really,
absolutely.
really well. But yeah, they beat Winnipeg today,
Yeah.
7-9, and now Winnipeg 8-8 on the season. Yeah, here it is. The updated West Division standings through week 18. Pardon me, week 19. Now, Winnipeg today could have clinched a playoff spot of some kind. Edmonton fighting for their lives. BC clinched. You see the X next to their name here. Here, I'll zoom out a little bit. And this Calgary-Hamilton game, Calgary didn't do Bombers fans any favors. Maybe did Nathan Rourke some favors because Bo Levi had a forgettable afternoon as far as the CFL MOP race goes. But yeah, just thought I would mention that.
Well, go to
Here's
go to
the
the East Division, Darrin. Do
yeah,
you mind going to the East? Because
sure.
if we look at the schedule coming up for the Bombers, I think it's interesting, right? Like they could miss the playoffs if they lose out and they finish 8-10. Edmonton is now 7-9. If they win out, they are 9-9. They would have to have a better record than the Bombers, folks, because Winnipeg still does have the tiebreaker on the Elks. because they beat them by 13, and Edmonton only beat them by 5. So
Mhm.
Edmonton has a tiebreaker. But if Winnipeg loses to the Riders next Friday at Princess Auto Stadium, and the Riders will have nothing to play for, but they are playing Winnipeg. They're not going to want to take their foot completely off the gas with 2 weeks left, because they're still going to get the bye into the West Final. So I think they're going to be a bit scrappy, but I think it's a winnable game. Then they play Montreal. Now Montreal is right now they have a game in hand on Hamilton, Darren, but they're 8-7. Hamilton's 10-7. So I believe Hamilton only has one game left. So Montreal can catch Hamilton. Can they pass them, though? Here's the thing. Yeah, they could get to 11 wins. Hamilton has a tiebreaker. So Montreal, depending on what Hamilton does in the next game, Montreal still could have first place in their crosshairs. So that the reason I bring Montreal up is because that's the last game of the season for the Bombers. They play Montreal, I think, in week 21
That's
in
right.
Winnipeg,
There it
Saturday
is there.
afternoon. So depending on what Hamilton does, now I don't think Hamilton's going to lose to Ottawa in the last week of the season,
You
but
never know what's happening.
you
So
never know. So
Hamilton's on the bye.
Montreal's going to be playing for something. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. Hamilton's on the bye next week. Weird Monday game at noon. Ottawa,
Ugh.
Montreal. That technically wraps week 20, or week 19 rather. Then week 20 begins Friday in Winnipeg as the Bombers try to keep that sellout streak continued. They probably will. Be curious what the weather will be like next Friday. We've been just blessed here in southern Manitoba. It's going to hit like a truck. The weather, that is. Edmonton at BC in a game that two teams need to win. Montreal at Ottawa. I mean, I think Montreal is going to play to win every game the rest of the way, simply because they've got Davis Alexander back, and I think they just want to try to get some momentum going into the postseason. Look out for them, by the way. I like Montreal's chances moving forward. Toronto at Calgary. I mean, Calgary's going to try to play spoiler and continue to push here. But yeah, there you go. Final week of the season. You were mentioning Ottawa at Hamilton. Calgary at Edmonton will be a very interesting Battle of Alberta to wrap things up. Montreal at Winnipeg. Saturday, October 25th, the Halloween game, afternoon game. That's going to be and then BC at Saskatchewan is going to be very interesting too. To see how things wrap up. But I mean, anything can happen in the standings here. It's wide open.
Yep. It's great. It's a great film. I mean, I'm disappointed Winnipeg hasn't clinched, but it's Spency. It's going to be a great finish. Spency is saying Walby's warrior is everyone who didn't bail early from Silver Heights. Folks, okay. I know he's just trolling me, but Spency was wearing the digital camo jerseys from 2014.
Oh, baby. Reebok, baby.
Oh my God. I know the story on those. I'll tell it another time.
Get a Westwood wide to the right there.
But Spency, you're a beauty. I left with about 54 seconds left after the Bombers missed the 3rd and 4. And
because you got
I had to get home because I had a show to do, Spency. What did you do? You probably went to some other watering hole, you wanker. Love me some Spency. Darren, my happy honker goes to one Nick Demski. I was going to say Nicholas Demski to, just enunciate that, but I don't think that's actually his full name.
Sorry.
So Nick Demski.
I didn't want to honk over your voice there, but
first of all, I hope he's okay. It looked like there may be a glute hamstring thing.
We'll take a look at that in a second. Yeah,
that would be a disaster for the Bombers. This is the number 1 receiver. I know Ontario Wilson's coming on, but Demski is having
Demski, born just a couple days ago.
Demski, his partner has a baby. He's now a dad of 2, and a couple days later, he gets just enough yards to break the plane on 1,000 yards, Darren, for Demski, and that is the 3rd consecutive 1,000-yard receiving season for Demski. He now only needs 6 more to reach 500 career receptions. So that was nice to see Demski get a catch and to break that 1,000-yard line. And of course, another shout out to Brady Oliveira, who for his fourth consecutive season has eclipsed 1,000 yards. The only Canadian to ever do that was Normie Kwong in the 50s. And
Yes.
Brady could do it next year, and he could do it the year after, and he could do it the year after that. That's why I'm giving him a game ball, Darrin. I thought he was phenomenal again. 12 carries, 117 yards, almost a 10-yard average. 9.8. He had a large of 34, which may be his biggest run of the year. I'm not sure. There was that week 2 run he had. I think it was maybe early 40s there or something. He has four runs of 10 plus yards. He pitches in 7 of 8 targets for 30 yards, catching the football, and a second down conversion, 24 yak yards. Brady is the engine that drives the bus of the Bombers offense. I thought he was phenomenal.
Look at these jump cuts from Brady. 17-yard run in the first quarter. Watch this replay here. Watch this guy's feet. Like, we saw I would say two of the best running backs go head to head against each other in Edmonton today. Unbelievable. I got to pull it back. Watch it in real speed. It's nuts. Watch Brady's feet. Look at these jump cuts. He's like, okay, I'm going to go to the corner. Boop, boop.
Yeah.
Ugh. Video game.
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well
he's
done.
a ridiculous talent. But we got to get him a Grey Cup when he's a starter, man. It's a crime. It's a crime. Other game, I'll get to. I'll pass it off to you in a second, Darrin. I think you have to give a game ball to Ontario Wilson. I mean, he only had 4 catches for 64 yards. But that 35-yard touchdown catch, in the last 20 years, can't think of a more spectacular catch. Now, we were talking at Silver Heights. Waiters brought up the S.J. Green catch at the back of the end zone, one-hander from, I think, 2010 from Calvillo, Darrin. Then I referenced the Duron Carter crazy catch from Kevin Glenn in 2017 at Mosaic, where he batted it to himself and caught it with one hand. I think this one was better. And I fully admit I have blue goggles on right now, Darrin.
I don't disagree, man.
But
I agree with you.
That was insane. That was absolutely insane.
It was.
Gravity-defying catch. Tips it to himself twice as he's getting tackled by 2 guys and manages to secure the catch just centimeters off the ground. Insane.
Yeah.
And not even like Zach is able to step into that ball. Okay, and Darrin, you're going to hate me for this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You're probably going to bite back, and that's okay. So, I mean, that's an insane catch. Okay? Zach Collaros has a beautiful, clean pocket. He steps into that throw, a 35-yarder, which isn't a huge bomb, Darrin, and he underthrew him. Now, Wilson makes a miracle catch against 2 defenders, but he has him beat, just like Demski had the guys beat in the first half of the first interception. Collaros has all day there.
Yep.
He steps into it, he launches it,
and
he underthrows Wilson. Wilson is behind coverage. So
Fuller
I
kind of sleeping there.
I hate to say it, but it's another example of Collaros underthrowing balls.
Tyrell Ford kind of sleeping there a little bit. But look at this. Oh, incredible. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the double-tipped interception in overtime of the 2021 Grey Cup.
Oh, yeah, that was beautiful. Yeah, Winston Rose, I think it was, what is it? Dietrich Nichols tipped it in the air. It's going to the ground. Winston Rose scoops it up and ladles it to Kyrie Wilson for the Grey Cup ceiling interception. And by the way, I reached out to Winston Rose asking him on social media if he did that on purpose or whether that was just a reflex. No, folks, Winston Rose, he confirmed, I did that on purpose. Like, I scooped up the ball. I saw Kyrie Wilson there, and I scooped it to him. Scoop and score.
Is that right? What's Winston up to these days? Is he back in Cali?
Winston? That's a good question. I think he's
a California kid. I know he's got family in Jamaica. I think his dad's from Jamaica.
Let me look him up. Let me look up his profile because I think he's coaching. Um, Winston
Underrated
Rose.
all-time Bomber.
Yeah. Well, he's the varsity defensive backs coach for the St. Genevieve High School.
You know what a lot of people don't realize? Winston Rose led the CFL in interceptions 2
Yeah,
years in a row. First with the BC Lions and then with the Blue
that's
Bombers the
right.
next year.
That's right.
And the Bombers signed him to like a value deal. And then, he played a couple outstanding seasons for Winnipeg, was one of those leaders of that dark side defense. Led them to a couple Grey Cups, and injuries caught up with him. And but man, Winston Rose, great guy too. Really enjoyed working with him, dealing with him.
Well, who was the BC Lions? He's now who's the GM of the BC Lions now?
Ryan Rigmaiden.
Yeah, so Ringmaiden came over from the
You're
came
right.
over from the Lions, sorry. He came to the Bombers and he brought over a bunch of Lions, right?
I was
Winston
talking
Rose
about
was
that
one of
at the
them.
Heights tonight with some people about,
Yeah,
Ted Gavaya, rest in peace. All the best to Ted and his family after his um, unfortunate passing in a battle with cancer last month. But Ted Gavaya goes from Winnipeg to his dream job in his home province and community in Southern Ontario to be the GM of the Hamilton Tiger Cats and brings a bunch of Blue Bombers. And I know Sandy and others have been in the chat, saying it's the Hamilton Blue Bombers. But the same thing happened when Ryan Rigmaiden went
yeah.
from player personnel, U.S. scout with the BC Lions to an assistant GM with Winnipeg, brought over a whole bunch of BC Lions. Same thing happened when the Bombers signed a whole bunch of Saskatchewan Roughriders. Remember when it was like that huge influx of Roughriders? Sam Hurl. Yeah, it was
Oh,
it
yeah,
was Sam Hurl, Weston Dressler, Ryan Smith,
yeah.
whole bunch of guys.
Happens all the time,
It's
eh?
the CFL.
Yeah,
That's the way it happens. But yeah, it was Ryan Rigmaiden. That's right. And now Rigmaiden back in BC,
yeah,
hires Buck Pierce.
yep. Yeah, no,
Uh,
I remember he brought over like Winston Rose, he brought over Anthony Gator. I
Anthony
think there was a
Gator.
couple
Yes,
other. Remember Gator? Did he play Sam?
I think so.
I
Yeah,
remember he had a pick on Zach Collaros, pick
Anthony
six
Gator.
on Zach Collaros in 2018 when Collaros was with the Riders. Remember the Bombers beat them 31-0 in an October game at home.
Yeah,
Yeah, Anthony Gator, I think, had a pick six in that game. And then he just walked away from the team in 2019. I don't think he liked his role because I think he was supplanted by guys like Nick Taylor and Mercy Maston. And I think he was put on the PR or something, and then he just walked. And then he didn't
yeah.
actually get the 2019 Grey Cup ring, which sucks for him.
Uh,
Just going off on a big tangent here, folks.
I like those though. Those are good. Those are good Bomber tangents, CFL
Yeah.
tangents. Granny Bomber fans. DB, are you and Walby on strike? When's your next show? Yeah, hit a snag this week. Walby is actually down in South Dakota. Dickinson State is where he went to college. Played NCAA ball down there before being drafted as a defensive lineman by the Montreal Alouettes. Hello, but he's back there for like an alumni
Oh,
reunion
that's
sort of thing.
cool. That's
But
great.
yeah, he's missed a couple shows, but he'll be back. We'll get a show going next
I'm
week.
sure he's having a great time knowing
Oh,
Walby.
I promise you. I promise you. I honestly thought about my guy as a Walby's Warrior tonight, but I'll give him a game ball. Dietrich Nichols has been playing some of his best football of his career, I would say, over the last 2 months. I think once again, he's probably going to get snubbed when it comes to all-star voting and that sort of thing, because you just don't hear his name much. He's locked down. This was an incomplete pass. Could have been a fumble, completion fumble, incomplete, whatever. It's because Dietrich was there. He seems to have one or two of these plays every single week. He's so good.
Yeah.
Him and Evan
Yeah.
Homie, and Spook are their nicknames. Those two, best halfback duo in the league. Huge reason why Winnipeg's defense is as good as they are.
Yeah.
THP Power, what's up with Houston? Let's talk about this, Schnitzy. Demerio Houston had trouble coming back across the border after the bye week. Then he was excused for a little bit for personal reasons. When the Blue Bombers depth chart came out, he was placed on the 1-game injured list. And the reality is he came back on Wednesday. And I don't know if he practiced on Wednesday. It was a close
I think he
practice. The
practiced
Bombers were then off on Thursday.
He practiced
and then,
once on Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was a healthy scratch. He was a healthy scratch tonight.
Do you think that was disciplinary, or he just didn't have enough time to practice? I mean, does that guy really need to practice?
I don't that whole not enough time to practice. I don't know. This was a decision. You're not playing this week. Discipline, maybe. Healthy scratch, maybe. Performance on the field, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Comment says if favorite all-time Bombers receiver isn't Milt. Me neither. And I like Milt, like as a person.
Yeah,
I know him.
Great guy.
Yes, Houston personal reasons. Yes, but what really is the reason?
And Lawson did fine. You know Lawson struggled early on in the season, Darrin. I thought Dexter Lawson Jr. did just fine. He had a great pass breakup in the first quarter, a long bomb from Fajardo that people thought was PI. It wasn't PI. It was perfectly positioned. I thought he played fine.
Yeah. I'm not glossing this over. I don't know what's up with Demerio Houston. But it had nothing to do with him not practicing. Like he was back on Wednesday. Yeah. Like he could have played if he wanted to.
Are you a couple other because I
Bobby Gordon. Bobby Gorgeous.
Oh, Bobby
my favorite
Gorgeous.
all-time Bombers receiver.
Really, eh? I'm just stimming on this BC Lions, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers with Ryan Ringmaid and Darrin. So there was Gator, but there was also Winston Rose we talked about. Gator wasn't the Sam. That's my bad. He was a D. He played in the secondary.
He was a halfback,
it was Chandler Fenner, number 22.
That's the one.
Chandler
played safety
Fenner.
And Sam. Very smart player.
Yeah, very. And if you remember, there was a game, the season opener. I think it was 2019. The Bombers won 33-23, and they got a 2-point conversion on a blocked single pointer. And Fenner, I think Fenner, someone blocked it and lateraled it to Fenner, and he ran back. And I still remember that play because it was pretty cool. Anyway, there was Chandler, and then there was
Fenner, one of the most professional people I've ever dealt with. And his physical makeup, like he looked like an NFL DB, like just his physical makeup, and very smart player too.
And then there was also Craig Rowe, and also rest in peace, Craig Rowe,
yes,
tragically died from cancer. Yeah, lovely people. Left behind a wife and kid.
Still have a lot of good connections, close connections to people in Winnipeg too.
Yeah. Well, beloved guy. So he was also there, and I still remember the game. Do you remember when Johnny Manziel came to Winnipeg? And I think it was 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And Craig Rowe sacked him 3 times in that game. Anyway, we're going way into the weeds here, Darrin. Way into the weeds.
We don't have any update on Nick Demski, but here's a look at his injury tonight. Like Demski pulls up hobbling mid route, and this ends up being intercepted by JJ Ross. Is that the JJ Ross interception? Yeah. That's really tough.
Yeah.
A lot of people asking why the Bombers didn't call. Well, there's Demski back out on the field after the injury. A lot of people asking about why the Bombers didn't call a timeout on their final possession. Edmonton's final possession. Who else was going on about? Oh, Scotty. I think it was Scotty T. Going on and on about the timeout. What happened? What happened with the timeout? I don't know.
So did
after
the
a game
Bombers,
like that? That's a hard question to ask the head coach.
did the Bombers finish the game with a timeout still in the back pocket?
Pardon me?
Did the Bombers not use all their timeouts in the game?
I guess not.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
interesting. Can I ask you something else? Just to
Shoot,
go
buddy.
back, maybe wide and right. I don't know. We gotta wrap it up in a minute because you've had a long day with the Jets too, buddy. Shout out to the Jets for pulling one out. Big win against LA today. Shifley with a couple of goals, including the game winner. Nice tip.
I'll
Okay,
quick
so
I'll quickly say Jonathan Jones signed with the Ottawa Redblacks.
yeah, practice roster.
Yeah.
So third, tell me what you folks think in the chat. Bombers are 3rd and 4. Game is on the line. Kalaris has struggled with long bombs all night. And they throw like a 40-yard pass to 𝘎𝙤𝙤𝙧𝙯 Stearns. Now, if that works out, it's brilliant. But they just hadn't been hitting those all night. So you need 4 yards. You have the time to throw a check down or even to run the ball. Right? And yeah, that was unfortunate. That play. Darren's just throwing the Brady Oliveira long bomb that was tipped away at the last second. Do you blame the offensive coordinator or Kalaris or whatever? You're throwing a long bomb to 𝘎𝙤𝙧𝙯 Stearns, who's 5'8". Now, like, is that maybe overly aggressive on 3rd and 4? Like, is there not a simpler high percentage play that you can get? Because it's not like they didn't have time. They had time to march down the field and score a walk-off winner.
I think you take what you think you can get. You know, I don't think it's, well, we want a 4-yard out here. It's like, well, sometimes that's not there. So you got to go for a 12-yard shot or you got to go for a 30-yard shot. It all depends what's there. The progressions of the quarterback, you know, for those that don't know what progressions are, it's you snap the ball and it's like, okay, this is my first read. There's Ontario Wilson. There's my second read, Nick Demski. There's my third read. It's Brady Oliveira in the flat. My fourth read is maybe Michael Chris Ike, the fullback, chip blocking, and he's a late release from his block. That's the progression, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 in your options. I think you take what you can get.
Yeah.
What we see is not always plan A. Sometimes it's plan D.
So you're saying it's possible that there was a shorter 5-yard out or whatever stick route that was.
I'd have to look at the play, but yeah, of course.
Maybe wasn't there. I think I overheard on the OB post game, Doug Brown was talking about Stearns that maybe he didn't play that route properly. I'd have to listen back, but just unfortunate for the Bombers because even though they got outplayed and didn't deserve to win this game, I would say they still had a chance, Darren, to pull off a miraculous victory in Edmonton, but alas, they cannot.
I want to wrap it up by talking about the playoffs and the possibility of it being a crossover. Could be Winnipeg, could be BC, could be Calgary. The West is jammed right now. But before we do, I want to mention our good friends. You were there tonight at the Silver Heights restaurant. Here we go. There it is. That's where you and the crew were tonight. Well, just on the other side of that nice mirrored signage in the Silver Heights restaurant lounge. You got legendary ribs, steaks, probably the best in Winnipeg. Hit the Heights in sunny St. James. Silver Heights restaurant and lounge serves up your favorites. Mouth-watering seafood. I can't get these graphics straightened out. Mouth-watering seafood, hearty Canadian classics, cozy vibes. Family-run Winnipeg institution since 1957. Dine-in, takeout, delivery, free parking, selection, great beer selection, lounge. It's Winnipeg's original sports bar. Schnitzy, I think you can speak to that. You can watch the Jets, the Bombers, NFL, and more. They got a monster screen there, multiple TVs. They're open late. Silver Heights Restaurant, 2169 Portage Avenue, just west of Assiniboine Park on Portage in sunny St. James. Order, book online. Find out more at silverheightsrestaurant.ca. when you go in there, you tell them the Bonfire Boys sent you, because Tony and JC will take care of you. You met Tony today.
I had a nice chat with Tony. We were talking about supply chain stuff with the
Oh yeah,
tariff. But he did tell me, and I don't think he expect me to repeat this, but
there's
he
Tony and
he
JC.
he did tell me that they've been getting the same ribs, Darrin, for 40 years. Certified Angus beef.
There you go.
Those ribs were mouth-watering. And he
Well,
told me, I don't need my cooks to be magicians. You give them a quality piece of meat and they cook it properly.
Mhm.
It's going to be tasty. I've got some sitting up in the fridge. I'm going to eat them right after we finish today and watch Sports
Man,
Center.
I'm getting hungry just thinking, like, you saying you have some in your fridge. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
my God, I
buddy.
wish I had Heights ribs in my fridge.
So
They're so good. They're
and
so good.
I always watch the away games with my father-in-law, David. I go with him to the games as well. That's folks, people are wondering, how do I get home so quickly after home games? It's because I go with my father-in-law, David, and he has a handicap pass, and we park right beside the stadium, so we get out really quickly.
And he's got a Tesla.
That's how I do it. Yeah, right. I think he has like a 2018 Honda Accord or something. Although those things are fast,
It's a
but
good car. It's a good car.
oh yeah, Silver Heights. I think we got to get out there for some more away game watch
Yeah, I
parties. That
think
was
so.
tons of fun, man.
I think so. Hey, you know what? Maybe your jam is a little bit slower. The Heights has Saturday afternoon jazz, 1 to 4,
Woo!
$7 cover. Like, uh, they got all types of good stuff. Wednesdays, wings, 12 pounds. Local beers, $1 off. $12 a pound, not 12 pounds. Well, I mean, you can have 12 pounds for $144, which ain't bad, actually. $12 a pound. Wednesday night, John Youngberg. Remember John Youngberg? For those that follow Winnipeg media. But like, they got prizes, they got just great people. Two can dine for $28 on Tuesdays. Ribs, haddock, breaded shrimp, sirloin steak, chicken. Like, the food is awesome. And Schnitzy, I don't know if you had any, if you imbibed at all tonight, but like, the Heights house beer is called Shites for Silver Heights.
Nice.
And
Sounds
it's the
like
Shite. It's very good.
how about Schnitzy and Schmeckel drink some shites?
There you go. Out of that mug right there.
Yeah.
Boom.
I wash this mug every day. This is like, I use this mug literally every day
Yeah.
for my coffee in the morning, and then I wash it with my dish wand.
You know what
Folks,
I did?
folks, I said dish wand, okay? Just clarifying. Dish
Schnitzy,
wand.
for $35 on Amazon, I bought a glass rinser. I like moved into
Ooh.
a new place this past winter. I've been renovating and stuff like that. I've talked about that on the show. There was like a soap dispenser like in the kitchen counter. You know what I mean? There's like a hole in
Yeah.
the counter. I'm like, I don't
Yeah,
want a
yeah,
soap
yeah.
dispenser in my counter. This is the stupidest thing ever. So I took it out and I got a hole in the kitchen counter. And I'm like, my old bartending days, or like, maybe spending too much time at the wood at the Heights. I bought a $35. I bought a glass rinser. So now I take my coffee cup, just go, psh, psh,
Ooh.
and it shoots jets of water.
It's like a countertop bidet.
Oh, see, I was going to make that joke and then I bit my lip.
Nah.
You hop up on the
Don't-
counter, have a good time.
I hear once you get a bidet, you can't go back. By the way,
There's a good rhyme in there
I see
somewhere.
T Will in the chat just throwing out haymakers. Love that. Apparently, Bardo, who organized tonight, knows what the T stands for.
In T Will?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I got to find that out. All these OGs of WST and Bonfire, they are very interesting folks. Some of them have, like, I was hearing some of them have secrets. Like, one of them works as a cocktail server, and nobody knows where she works except Spency, which is probably the last person you want to know where your place of work is. Yeah, people have monikers. Nobody knows their real name. It's great. But I'm going to say T Will stands for, I don't know. I
True
was going to say
story.
twerky. I was going to say twerky because I was going to say quirky, but
True story.
no.
Maybe the
Turkey.
T stands for true story.
True story. Truth teller.
This comment earlier from Evan Hodgson, maybe we'll wrap up the show with this. Zach Collaros is washed, says Evan Hodgson. Why was he extended through 2026? I think Winnipeg has a contingency plan at quarterback that's not going to be there until 2027.
Right.
Taylor 𝙎𝙥𝙬𝙧𝙩, or maybe another, maybe it's why is the name escaping me right now? Chase Artopius. I always have to think of well, P. Diddy produced the song, but Notorious B.I.G., because I heard Zach Collaros singing it once, saying, Chase, Chase, Chase Artopius. He is Artopius. See, monotone. It's the only singing you'll ever get out of me. Maybe it's Chase Artopius. Maybe it's Taylor 𝙎𝙥𝙬𝙧𝙩. Zach Collaros can win you football games. To say he's washed, like, no, he's not the same quarterback he was 4, 5, 6 years ago, 7, 8, 9 years ago. He's not. But he was an MOP candidate just a couple years ago. Regardless of that, what would the other option be? Who you getting? Who's going to play quarterback? So that's why he was extended through 2026. No contracts in the CFL are guaranteed. There are new stipulations that, like, you can have guaranteed money placed into CFL contracts now. That's a new thing. Just a couple years ago, it was put into the CBA. But if you cut a player, you don't owe him another dollar. Yeah. So you can extend him through 30-30. What is it, or 20-30? What's the difference?
This is, and I know we got to get out of here, but I think that Drew Brown will end up back in blue and gold at some point, Darrin. I think his contract expires next year. I've heard
it looks like Ottawa's probably going to change head coaches, which means
that they're a tire fire. I think he comes back maybe even next year. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if somehow he ends up back in Winnipeg. Maybe there's a trade, which never happens in the CFL, but I think he liked it here. I think he'll like it now even more.
Schnitzy, Johnny Boy Diano.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But I wouldn't be surprised. But I do think 𝙎𝙥𝙬𝙧𝙯 is the future. I think this is a guy who went to Laurier. Yeah, he won the Heck Crichton. I don't think he's going to get a shot down south. Like, I really don't think he's going to get a fair shake. He outplayed the other guys in the Green Bay in training camp. It's politics down there.
The difference is he's big. He is a big
He's
dude.
6'5". He's a big boy.
But
I don't think
Nathan
that matters.
Rourke. Okay? That's not Curtis Rourke. That's not Nathan Rourke. That's not Zach Collaros. The reason quarterbacks hang around in the NFL is because they're 6'5", and they got a cannon arm, and they're smart, right? And all the other things. All indications are Taylor 𝙎𝙥𝙧𝙯 has what it takes to earn
he does have what
a CFL contract. The fact he's 6'5" makes that politics, the Canadian stigma, whatever, it makes it go way down because he's 6'5". Yeah. I don't think a lot of GMs give a crap.
Not 6'7", folks. Not 6'7". A 6'5" quarterback gets more chances. It's like the guy in high school who was really good looking and didn't have to be good in bed. He's just so good looking. I never had that problem.
Captain of the football team.
My wife dated I think he was a linebacker on the football team in high school, and I'm 5'6" I can't live up to this guy. Matt Fox, wherever you are, I will be jealous of you. Yeah,
you named him
wherever you are.
Oh my God.
Apparently a great guy. Like, it's one of those things where, like, my wife's like, oh yeah, like, we just, like, got older and changed, and great guy though. Still love the guy. I'm like, what's
they're
going
all
on
good
here?
guys until you
really
find out who they are.
Yeah, little guy, little
quite a few Canadians playing in the NFL, says THP Power.
Sure,
more than quite. Like, there's a lot, and every year there's more and more. Yeah, T-Will.
I think 𝙎𝙥𝙬𝙧𝙯 is the future, though.
T
Yeah,
Will.
I know.
Maybe the T has something to do with being good looking.
Oh,
Yeah.
tidy Will.
Randall, I think, wraps it up nicely. Another great show, guys, and the live chat. See you at the Rum Hut Friday with the Pegs TSN hockey crew. Okay, Randall.
Matt Hyman, we missed you at Silver Heights, buddy. We were talking about you.
Always talking about Schnitzy. We're always talking about you when you're not around. Did you know that?
Yeah, I love me some Matt Hyman.
Yeah. Well, look, we're going to get a pregame show, Game Day Winnipeg, with myself and Chris Walby on Friday because the Bombers are back at home next week. Here it is. I got it. Finally. There we go.
Sell it out, folks. We want that. What is it, Darrin? 14th straight?
It could be 13 or 14 in a row. I think it's 13 in a row.
Yeah.
Friday, October 17th, 7 o'clock Winnipeg time at the Madhouse on Matheson, Princess Auto Stadium. The Rough Riders in town. They clinched first in the West. They essentially clinched first in the league with their win just the other night against the Toronto Argonauts. So are they going to take their foot off the gas? Well, Corey Mace, incredible technique with the straight arm on the Gatorade bucket, not allowing Micah Johnson to give him the shower. Saying,
that was a great straight arm.
He said, we got a game to win next week.
Yeah.
That's against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Third and final meeting of the season between the two. Winnipeg looking for their first win against the Riders. But look, they're going to have to beat the Riders one way or another in the playoffs, whether it's a crossover and they meet them in the Grey Cup. Ooh, can you imagine Bombers Riders in the Grey Cup in Winnipeg?
And
the Bombers are the road team?
The Bombers right now are the crossover team, man. And they've never crossed over there. Thanks to John Hodge. They've never, for this tidbit, they've never crossed over in their history.
Oh, I thought you were like, thanks to John Hodge. They're the crossover team.
Yeah, thanks to John. John, if you're listening, man, how could you make the Bombers a crossover team? What did you do? Yeah, that's a huge game. And like, Darrin, here's the thing. It wouldn't surprise me if Collaros comes out and just absolutely destroys the Riders secondary and lights them up for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. I don't know what Zach we're going to get, man, but you and Walby will talk about it on the pregame. I don't know.
I was just reading this. Don Crookshank says the Bombers are not facing Saskatchewan in the Grey Cup. The Bombers are not making it to the Grey Cup. Okay.
How do you know that?
Okay.
All due respect to Don.
Did you have quickly before we head out, did you have a Grey Cup pick going into the regular season, Schnitzy? Did you pick a Grey Cup matchup? No? Do you hear me?
I can't. Sorry, you froze for a second for me, buddy. I didn't hear you.
No, I was saying, did you have a Grey Cup matchup pick going into the regular season?
Ooh. Oh, I actually, I prognosticated that Ottawa would finish first in the East and that BC would finish last in the West. So
I took Saskatchewan to beat Montreal in the Grey Cup.
I think that's a fair guesstimation. Yeah. But listen, Darrin, do I think the Bombers will get there? I wouldn't bet on it at this point. They're too inconsistent.
I wouldn't bet against it either.
But to say that they're not going to get there, like I've said, well, you've said this too, Darrin. This defense is very good. They allowed 17 points on the road to Edmonton, a team that has been getting hot. This defense is for real. It may not look sexy. They may not get a lot of sacks and interceptions. But you can't pass for more than 65% completion percentage against them. You got Vavel on special teams, will probably win the special teams player of the year. You got Castillo. If this offense just plays average and stops turning the freaking ball over, they can beat any team in the CFL.
If they didn't turn the ball over tonight, they would have won.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ryan Friesen.
They went toe-to-toe with the Riders on Labor Day, Darrin. You've talked about this. They were one play away from tying that game on a 2-pointer. They can beat any team in the CFL.
Yeah.
They kicked the crap out of Hamilton. They beat Montreal. Now, I know it was with a 4-stringer, but they really figured out Noel Thorpe's defense. They beat BC twice, I know, early in the season, but they still beat them. Rourke played one of those games. They lost by a point on a walk-off field goal to Calgary. They can win the Grey Cup. They're not as dominant as they have been, but they can do it.
Darrin Farian, watching live on YouTube. What's going on, Darrin? I don't know if I've seen you in the live chat before. Welcome. Darrin asks, if the Stamps, Bombers, and Lions all finish with the same record, what's the tiebreaker? My understanding is it's their head-to-head. So here, I'll pull up the standings here. So let's say Winnipeg, Calgary, and BC all finish 10-7. Or pardon me, 10-8. Okay? Then Winnipeg beat BC twice. Calgary beat Winnipeg twice. It would essentially come down to Calgary and BC's record, and they play each other in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. Wait. No, I'm wrong. BC Edmonton, Calgary Edmonton. Yeah. But that's what it would be. It's head-to-head record. So if it's a 3-way tie, Winnipeg would probably end up second of those 3. Unless BC beat Calgary twice, because then BC would.
I think the Bombers end up at the bottom of that pile.
Yeah.
If
thanks.
If there's 3, if there's a 3-way tie, they finish at the. I think that's what I heard.
The Bombers have finished third.
Yeah.
Out of the 3. Yeah.
I don't fully understand it, but that's what I read somewhere.
Well, it's a reason to come back to Bonfire, and we'll get into that, all of that. Chris Walby will join me for Game Day Winnipeg and our pregame show on Friday. Bombers play Saturday at home against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I'm already mixed up. The Bombers play Friday, October 17th, 7:00. Walby and I will get the pregame show going on Thursday, coming out of WST as we always do. And we will have clarity on a lot of those playoff scenarios. But ultimately, the Bombers lose by 5 tonight and do not clinch a playoff spot. But hey, who knows? When I see you next time here around the bonfire, Schnitzy, we might be talking about the Bombers clinching a playoff spot if they can get a win, of course, against the first place locked up Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Yes, sir, folks. If you don't have tickets for that game at Princess Auto, the Bombers need you. This is a team, and I will agree with Don here. They are inconsistent. They need your help. They are a different team at home. Nick Demski is an absolute dog at home, by the way. If you look at his stats at home versus on the road, Brady's there. We got to cheer on Zach, even though some of you say he's washed. This team can clinch a playoff spot next week against the pesky, hated Riders.
Mm.
And as much as they have the culture, they've already clinched first place, right? They're not going to have the same fire. We got to beat them next week. We got to sell it out, keep the streak going. And just on the way out, I will say Zach is tanking to go to Swifty's wedding. Be happy with 500 because that's all that you're getting. Sayonara, everybody.